Hello and welcome back to the Common Colt Podcast, a Colts podcast. It's real takes and no clickbait. I'm Josh Hudgens, joined by Dan Hertzler. Dan, I don't even want to ask how you're doing today because it's a dark day in Colts Nation.
Man, I was just sitting there enjoying some conference basketball and sitting there with my family eating dinner. All of a sudden, I look down, I get these notifications. The Carolina Panthers have jumped up to the number one pick. And it's just like my emotions just went right through my head and right out. I was ticked off. I'm telling you my one word right now because I can't even wait. My one word is ticked. I am ticked, man. This was the Colts pick. We were going to get one of the top two quarterbacks, and just like that, the rug was pulled right out from us. We are screwed. We have very few options, or at least the options we have now are going to be completely different than what we've been talking about for the last month. I don't know what happened, but I am ticked.
So it's interesting because with the Colts, we've talked about actually a few weeks ago, we said the Panthers were legit a team who could trade up to number one. And Frank Reich being the guy who knows who the Colts potentially like. I mean, this was a real shot and it happened.
Yep.
So my one word is bleak. First of all, the number one pick, the Panthers are going to take a quarterback. And then the number two pick is the Texans. So, I mean, it's not like the Texans are going to trade with us. So CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, in our opinion, it's those two, and then there's a big drop. Now the Cardinals are at number 3. Who's to say that somebody's not going to try jumping in front of us at number 3? So I am just typically I'm an optimistic person, but looking at this trade and kind of realizing like, oh boy, what actually just happened here could have just cost the Colts their franchise quarterback. I mean, and the price, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, DJ Moore. It was a lot. Don't get me wrong. It was a steep price, but if you believe and if you're convicted that you're trading for your franchise quarterback, a guy who's going to lead your franchise for the next decade and a half, that's not that bad if you're the Panthers trading up from number 9. What do you think?
Yeah, and we don't know what the Colts offered or if they even did offer something. Hopefully that'll get leaked here. But you have to realize the Colts were at 1-4. They didn't have to move. The Bears didn't have to move all the way back to 1-9. So you have to assume that the offer didn't have to be that big as what the Panthers did. We could have easily given up 1-4. We could have easily given up maybe 2 seconds and a player. I mean, it just blows my mind that the Colts just fumbled this moment right here because it's been 3 straight years of us just Phillip Rivers and Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan. Like, we are tired of doing these things with these quarterbacks. And now we're looking at, hey, look, I'll give Will Levis his fair shake. I'll give Anthony Richardson his fair shake. But even if those guys start to pan out and look legit, we've got to be in the market now of a veteran quarterback. And it's like, it's almost like, here we go again. Like, are we really going to be like looking out there for Marcus Mariota or Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston? I mean, we're going to have to get one of these quarterbacks because I don't think either of those two guys or even a later round pick, maybe we go defense at 1-4 and we go later round, they're just not going to be ready to start the season. And so here we are again. It's like, oh man, it's like, I don't even know what to say anymore.
Yeah, I think when looking back to like 2012 when Andrew Luck was drafted by the Colts, or 98 for some people, it's like when Peyton was drafted, you watch the Colts and you know, okay, we're not going to win the Super Bowl this season, but this is, we're watching the future. We're watching this guy get better. Now, like you said, if we get an Anthony Richardson or a Will Levis, we're not sure if these guys are going to be able to play right off the bat, or even if these guys are going to be any good. It's not like these guys are not no rookie's a sure thing, but especially some of these what we're going to call second-tier quarterback prospects. I know some people in the media typing up Anthony Richardson. Our last video, we talked about that. For me, as a Colts fan, this is as bad as it gets. The only hope we have, and the only hope I have, is that the Texans would take a defensive player. The Texans would take a Jalen Carter, and then you get either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud by trading up with the Cardinals. That would be, and then maybe you still get your guy, and possibly you don't give up as much as you were going to give up for number 1. So I think the Colts, honestly, trade up to number 3 this week, next week before the draft, and then you have it. And that way you can't get jumped. That's my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, no, Expecting the Texans not to take a quarterback, I think is a Hail Mary play. It's possible, yeah. But it's a Hail Mary play. Moving up one spot for what you have to give up, to me, it's not worth it. I really think, and again, this is just early reactions. We got to spend more time, and we'll see more about these, Levis and Richardson in the pro days and other stuff. But
yeah,
I really think the Colts need to go defense and then try to get a quarterback in the second or third round, or they need to trade back and start loading up picks and actually start preparing for 2024. I know I don't want to say that, and nobody wants to hear that. But there's a real chance here. If these quarterbacks like Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, hey, we think they're all right. We think they're good, but they're too high at 1-4. Hey, I would start trading back and then maybe pick them up a little bit later, or pick up your defense and start building up your team. And then we're just going to have to go through another season with kind of a stopgap quarterback. I mean, I know you're an optimist, and I don't want to be a pessimist here, but there's a dark cloud hanging over us. It's like Charlie Brown, a little rain going on over our head, because this is depressing.
Fans are gonna have pitchforks out if we sign a Marcus Mariota and say this is our guy. They're also gonna have their pitchforks out if we trot out a first round defensive tackle. This is the year we were supposed to get our quarterback. It is, and boy, oh boy. This is, like you said, initial reactions. I think as time goes on, we can take a breath and say, okay, how are we going to redirect this ship? And Chris Ballard right now, this seat is hot.
Yep.
It was hot
Yep.
going into this offseason, and boy, oh boy, that thing has got to be. I don't know if you've ever been in a car where it's a long drive and you had that heat warmer on maxed out, and you're starting to get a little, this is a little toasty. Ballard's at that point right now, and he's going to have to find a way to turn that thing down. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
It's gonna be interesting again, and again, you and I, we both kind of got hyped with Anthony Richardson at the draft. It was like, oh well, yes, and then you start watching tape a little bit, and you're like, oh boy, this guy doesn't know how to maybe read a defense, or this guy's got. So again, maybe there's something more there, that we got to dig deeper into, but we're still on the table that these guys are not going to be ready for opening day, and even if they have a good season, it's going to be later on. So. Free agency starts on Monday, and I think the Colts need to be paying attention to, some of these quarterbacks. I mentioned a few of them that are out there, but we're going to have to get somebody. Someone's got to play the position,
Jackson,
and do that. Oh gosh,
I'm just kidding. Don't roast me, guys. Let us know what you think. We're feeling bad. Yeah. I mean, this is literally an instant reaction, so it's probably a little over the top, but it's not good. Whatever the case is, you can spell it however you want to. This is bad for the Colts, and congrats to the Panthers. They made the move, and sometimes you have to risk it for the biscuit, as corny as it sounds. So, hey, let us know what you think. Comment, subscribe, and until next time, thanks for watching the Common Colt Podcast.